Now I've got an interview lined up for you here. I've got Tinashe Madamombe joining me in the studio. Welcome, Tinashe.
Thank you, and very glad to be here.
Great, great. Good to have you. And also, Tinashe is a communications specialist. She's a writer. She's also a gender advocate with over 9 years of experience working across Africa, working in the UK and the United States. She's the founder of the Dorcas project and Stitching Futures. This is an initiative empowering young mothers as well as vulnerable young girls with sewing, digital skills, and entrepreneurial skills. She was also recognized among Zimbabwe's 40 under 40 communicators 2025. That's very impressive. That's interesting, I must say.
Thanks. It sounds different when someone else is reading it out to me.
You're like, is this me?
Yeah. Who's that?
Making me sound good and everything.
Yes.
I like the t-shirt you're wearing, Kusona.
Yes.
That's so captivating. Immediately when you see that, you're like, Kusona, okay. Like, what's this all about? Tell me.
So Kusona is an initiative that has been born out of Stitching Futures. So Stitching Futures started 2024. We were taking up a couple of young girls, mainly focusing on the Hopley area, and we're taking especially young mothers, so girls that have either had children below the age of 18 or those that are 18 and now have children. So we took them through various skills, so also including the sewing, the digital literacy, the financial literacy training, and entrepreneurial training. So also last year they were sewing garments that would speak to the challenges that they face within society and how they've been handled being teen moms. So the main thrust of that was that we were giving them skills that they could use to take care of their young children. So we're back again this year in a phase 2 where we're taking on both young mothers and teen moms, young mothers and young girls as well. So what we realized after our pilot project last year was that we were leaving out the girls that were not yet in the same situation that these teen moms were. So the best part is to captivate them when they haven't made the same, if it's errors or same mistakes that the other girls have made, and there's that cross-learning of it. So we have added Kusona in it so that it resonates with the girls that we're speaking to and the community that we're speaking to. Because like you say, when you say Kusona, everyone wants, oh, what's Kusona? What is it about? But it has a meaning, especially also in their lives. So besides just the sewing, we're also bringing in social workers and for mental health, because we realized that although through the storytelling that they were doing last year, or sewing garments and speaking their stories, there was so much that needed to be addressed just besides the sewing. So as we say Kusona, we're not only Kusona, artist Kusona, only clothing, but through Kusona even their lives back together and hopefully giving them a second chance.
Wow. Tinashe, that's just beautiful to hear that Kusona is an initiative that's going beyond actual sewing of clothes, and it's just also stitching back together the lives of people who might feel like they haven't had a second chance to actually follow passions or actually make something out of their lives. Hey, oh wow, okay. So talk to me about your journey that led you to actually coming up with this initiative, and what drives your passion for this community development?
Yes, interesting. So my journey is quite long. It also came from my own passion of trying to find myself, and things that came easy to me were working with young women and vulnerable girls. So this gave birth to the founding of the Dorcas project, which is a project that works with vulnerable girls and also orphan children in different communities. So through that and networking and the work that we're doing since 2016, I was then drawn, like the path, you know how your path can just, and fate will lead you in a certain way. And that's how I landed mostly in Hopley and the girls that are living there through connections and contacts and my networks there. So having then started working with them and my passion in storytelling, I found that there was a lot that needed to be told, a story that needed to be told. And I think for me, something interesting is how I've read, there's a quote that says, for a long time, Anonymous was a woman. And it resonates because a lot of our stories are left and they are known where they are. If they're told, we don't know whose stories they are. But most of the time, they're not told. So what platform can we have that young women can come in and also tell their stories, own their stories? So whether they're stories that are bad, whether they're stories that make them look good in the community, but how can they tell the story and own it and make it theirs? So there's a lot of it, background also in fashion designing. So it was about what can I bring together that can make a difference in society, but also bringing in just what I'm passionate about. So things that I don't think or twitch about twice before I actually go in and say, okay, I need to do this today. I enjoy it. It's something that I'll sit there and actually do it. And this year, it's actually been refreshing as well, because now I have a collaboration team that I'm working with, and a team of creatives. So it makes the work that we're doing lighter. We've got a hip-hop artist that we're working with. We've got a storyteller as well, a stand-up a storyteller, but using poetry. A climate activist as well. So it's all intertwined and then coming in, because we're also, besides us giving these girls the skill, we're also learning from them as well in the work that we do.
Okay, interesting. It's so much easier to give back something that you already have within you, and it just flows easily, isn't it? Like you're saying, it's a passion that you've always had, the designing and all of that. And you spoke about storytelling, which is something that in our African community is it's just something that's a part of us.
Yes.
And one of the things that's passed on so easily from one generation to the other is sewing, crocheting, and things like that. So how have you managed to tie that in with your global experience?
So my global experience, mostly storytelling would come in. How do you tell the African story, and how do you own it? Because there's a lot of dilution in the process, and then also wanting to sound global. But from my experience, it's about staying authentic, just being who you are, and claiming that this is who I am. Like, I know with my experience working outside of Zimbabwe, just your name, simply your name, and people pronouncing it is difficult. So how do you tell the story of what your name means and why you would want people to call it in full? So my name is Tinashe. Yes, you can call me Tina, but my name is Tinashe. And you need to understand why the full name Tinashe makes sense, as opposed to just calling me Tina. So it's a lot of that, speaking your own story, being who you are, and allowing the world to see that authentic side and appreciating it like that. Yeah.
So these girls, these women, as they stitch their lives back together in sewing, what's the other end goal with this? Are they selling these designs to then sustain their lives? What's the end goal?
So there's a lot of parts to it. I think from experience we've learned that there's no one end goal for each girl. The path is different for everyone. For some, they might end up actually selling the garments that they make. So as we're taking them through the digital literacy training, the main aim is to introduce them to social media platforms where they can actually sell and advertise their work. Because as you said, we're in a global world. So how do they get identified when they're online? How do they actually put where's they instead of having a physical store? But for some, an end goal might just be self-actualization, just accepting that they can do better than they have been doing, and that there is better for them out there. So the end goal is not unique for it's not the same for everyone, it's unique for everyone. We've had girls in the last period that actually didn't finish the whole program that we had, but without finishing, some of them had gotten a job, and what they had learned from just being in the program were different things. So communication skills, they get there and they know what Canva looks like, for example, and they can now use it in the work that they're doing because they've learned a certain skill. So definitely not looking the same, but the greatest goal for us is that they learn a skill that they can use to take care of themselves financially, and also for those that have children to be able to take care of their children.
I imagine that it's also probably just fulfilling for some, like to just do it just to have a skill, a life skill, and just something to do, even if you're not going to sell anything, just to have that side. So.
I was just going to add that we've got some girls that have been saying they don't spend the day doing anything because there's nothing to do. They're not going to school anymore. So they're just sitting around in the neighborhood. So for them, it's a way to get out of trouble. There's a lot of drug and substance abuse within the community, a lot of opportunity for other pathways, including sex work. So how do they get themselves out of that position where they just idle and they can actually do something? So this is something for them as well. Just I've got the next 3 months I'm going to be doing something and not just spending the day at home.
Seeing that this initiative is very broad, it's not just centered on sewing skills and things like that. You spoke about the financial literacy and the digital skills that you're empowering these young girls and women with. Talk to me about the importance of that and why you thought it would actually help in bringing like a whole perspective.
Yeah, so when I look at the girls, and it also resonates with me, I am a single person, but I am not one. There's a lot of branches to me. So if it's skills that I need to learn, there has to be a lot of branches that need to be learned. I'll take it back to when I was in university studies. My background is in women and gender studies for my undergrad. But what you realize, especially when you're in social sciences, for you to stand out, you need to have something else that branches out of your social science. So you just cannot be a women and gender advocate. It needs to have something else for you to stand out. So same thing comes with it for these girls. Although they're coming in to get a skill with their hands, but it branches out elsewhere. So even if it's with the financial literacy, because I know a lot of people, when you think of financial literacy, you might think you need to have a bank account and you need to have a stable income that's coming in every single month. But it starts with the habit of how do you do it with the little that you have. So even for them, even if it's an allowance that they're getting from their parents, but how do you manage that? To think, okay, I'm going to need a saving because I'm going to need to buy diapers for my child, even though the money is not coming from you, even if it's from your partner, it's still the same thing. So the interconnectedness is within that project, even when it comes to if they're sewing and they want to sell, like I said, with digital literacy. But how do you know that there's Facebook Marketplace? How do you, without having been taught that skill? So I feel there's a lot of branches that come in that assist in seeing the bigger picture. So for most people, you might hear that they have been taught sewing and upcycling, because we're also bringing in an element of climate change and how do you preserve what we already have with upcycling and then making it into different things. So for them, they probably have the tools with them already, which is clothes that they probably don't wear anymore. So how do they use those to make it into something else that they can even sell out there?
Okay. I imagine this has created a community for some mothers who are probably feeling lonely, and now they have like something to look forward to. Are there any key collaborations you'd like to mention that have contributed to this program's success, just very quickly?
Yes, so for initial, we are now have a grant that's coming from the Zimbabwean German Society. We have identified and seen that this project has a potential, especially when it comes to collaborating with various artists and creatives and bringing the skill back to the community. But also we've collaborated with a mental health specialist who's coming in then to talk to the girls about their challenges and how they can navigate that particular platform. We're also this year partnering with Old Mutual for the On the Money training. So they're coming in to then give the financial literacy, which we did last year, but in our own capacity. And then this year, we've got a body that's actually coming in to assist us with that. So we've been seeing there's a lot of angles that we're finding different collaborations that can assist in making these girls whole and full and become the best that they can be.
Okay. And then when you look at the impact of Stitching Futures, how do you hope it'll continue beyond this, like after the training period, once the girls are done with the course and all?
So the hope is that they can better themselves, like I said, and that they can use this skill in their lives, but also so that they can pass this on. So not only to their community, but even to their children who are still young. So our experience with the group that we had last year, there were a lot of challenges that we faced, because initially we started with 6 and the whole group dropped out. We had 5 that came on board, and we only finished, at the end, we only had 1 student that ended with us. But she's doing amazing. And she's also been able to mentor other girls within our community. She's also now even coming into this particular phase and then also talking to the girls to the benefit of it. So for me, holistically, even if we are able to just change one girl's life, that's one is a lot, and we can do more in the next phase. So for this year, we've taken on more girls, and like I said, young mothers and teen girls as well. And for us, we're seeing a great change, because from where we started and where we are now, the change is there.
Okay. So if someone wants to have a look at some of these beautiful designs, if someone wants to partner with you, if someone wants to support some of these women, where can they find you? Just give us quickly your social media handles and how to contact you.
All right, so we are on Facebook as Stitching Futures, also on Instagram as Stitching Futures. You'll find me personally on all the different platforms, including LinkedIn, your Twitter as Tinashe Madamombe. So we're looking forward to any collaborations, any potential, anyone that wants to come in to join, or even those that want to volunteer to come and speak to the girls or to have activities with them. Everyone's welcome. So thank you. So that's Stitching Futures on Facebook and on Instagram.
Thank you very much for joining us on Morning Rush this Monday morning.
Thank you, and thank you for having me.
Great, and all the best with your projects, and as well as to the young ladies.
Yes, thank you.
Great. That was Tinashe Madamombe. She's got this Kusona Stitching Futures initiative that's well worth checking out.